Hi, my name is Dr. Dharm Sidhu. I'm a naturopathic doctor in Vancouver, Canada, and this is my friend.
Yeah, I'm Dr. Adrienne Wood. I'm a naturopathic doctor in Windsor, Nova Scotia, Canada.
And yesterday we did a talk on, God, what was it? A family, family dynamics. That was less than 24 hours ago. And in it, one of the conversation we came up with was false beliefs and its impact on families. So today I'm gonna ask some questions about family beliefs and how that lead to suppression and denial of emotions, which in my perspective is the cause of health issues, which is why we're here,
Hmm.
uncovering health issues, and down the rabbit hole we go, and here we are talking
Hmm.
about all this what I feel like complex stuff, but could be pretty straightforward from God's perspective. So Adrienne, what are false beliefs? What are your beliefs about it? What is, wow,
What are my beliefs about false beliefs?
just heard myself saying that out loud. Yes.
Or maybe what I've learned about false beliefs or what
Yes.
I so far? Um, yeah, I guess I'm false beliefs are beliefs that we hold in ourselves,
Mhm.
in our soul, deep inside of ourselves that things that we really believe are true and they're often not conscious, like they're not in the forefront of our awareness, but they are things, that drive a lot of our choices and a lot of our actions in our life. They're the things that often motivate us, and they might be things that we call values or
Right.
beliefs. Yeah, they become almost tenets of how we live our lives by.
Okay.
But
Okay.
those would be beliefs, but
Yes.
false beliefs are then beliefs that we really believe to be true, but are false according to God and God's
Okay.
principles.
Okay. Okay. Um, Thank you. So these beliefs are emotions, right? Like from what I've learned is that beliefs, the false beliefs are also emotions, and that we can't just logically have a intellectual belief and believe that this false beliefs are now gone. We can't just browse.
Yeah, yeah, our beliefs are very emotional by nature,
Yeah.
especially the ones that are very deeply seated in us.
Okay.
Beliefs are, that is, I think, a truth or a fact that beliefs are emotional by nature. So, yeah, we can't, they are things that we cannot intellectually
No.
reframe or restructure or decide to just
Right.
get rid of. It is an emotional process to recognize and work through a belief and replace it with it, to let a belief
The
go.
truth one. To even
Yeah.
like, yeah, to actually let it go, you have to experience it emotionally, which I find has been kind of like the dark night of the soul, because I facade where I believe myself to be a certain way. And then when you surrender into a false belief, especially when you come down from multi-generational impact of people that you're not very proud of, you're like, can I not be related? Can I not turn into this person? Only to recognize that the false beliefs have entered us now. We may not act on them, but at some point, but like you're saying, maybe we are acting on them and not recognize it. And that's
Yeah.
even more frightening for me. So
Yeah.
always
Yeah.
trying to not be like a certain type of my family lineage,
Yeah.
only to recognize that unfortunately is there. Why do, how did this get into us? Like, why, if I feel like I never had a fighting chance about it.
Yeah, I don't think yeah, I think a lot of our beliefs are don't end up being our choice to begin with.
Right.
We start absorbing our beliefs from our parents right from the get-go. I mean, right before we even leave the womb, we start
Right.
absorbing things from our mother. I mean, that's been proven scientifically that we
Right.
absorb, the cortisol levels in a mother are absorbed and affect the fetus, the growing child, and those. if we take it a step further spiritually, that it's the beliefs, not just the cortisol levels affecting the
Right.
child. So we're absorbing them right from the get-go. And then we enter into the world and we start absorbing them from our parents and whoever else might be around us, maybe grandparents or aunts or uncles or
Like,
teachers or
yeah.
priests or
Like the
whoever.
culture, the region, the country, even where
Yeah. Yeah,
okay.
we start absorbing those as fact, as truth, as if I grew up I grew up in Nova Scotia and their family is everything. Family is the most important thing, and I think that's true. That's a
Every
belief that's
culture
lots
has
of
their own way.
areas, but that's just something that I believe to be true from the very get-go. Right?
Ah,
My family is more important than any other person or any other people. It's just something that
right.
yeah. So we there's so many of them. We just start absorbing them and learning them right from the get-go. So there's the false beliefs that we absorb and learn from our environment, but then
Yeah.
there's beliefs that we then create ourselves
Yes.
based on the environment. So an example
Yes.
of that might be if my if my mom really believes that feeling sadness is too painful,
Mhm.
grief and sadness is too painful to feel, if and and that's something that I then learned to be true in my family, then if my mom is showing any signs of sadness, then I'm going to start to believe that, well, if my mom is sad, it's too painful for her to experience, and I must do something to make her feel better. So then that
That's
becomes then the belief that I'm creating that I can make my mom feel better if she's showing signs of sadness or pain.
so then you'll take on the role going forward that it's my job to I can have an identity that I'm somebody that comfort other people's sadness. I get value and worth from it. That's who I
And
am.
not only value and worth from it, but I really believe that it's my job.
Yes.
And
Yes.
and I start to believe that I actually can
Yes.
save people from their sadness and their pain.
Yes. And that's like a baby. A baby can have that feelings
Yeah,
when
yeah,
like you can be that young.
yeah. It's not
No,
a logical conscious thing that's happening. It's a feeling that happens in us. It's a feeling that drives choices and actions we take.
okay. So in a way, it kind of helped me to be detached from it, going, look, I had no choice about absorbing these beliefs. They're in me. I can just go, it's just a thing I have, it's just a code I have. And I can say, yeah, nah, I don't want this anymore. I never had a choice. If I had a choice, I may not have taken it on. How do I get rid of it? Like it kind of gives me that permission to just not be attached and fight for it. Like it's just not even mine. Let's just go.
Yeah,
Right. So
yeah.
that detachment has helped me to not because I also have a belief system that I'm a fighter, I'm a warrior. So then I fight for things and it's like, no, don't take this one, let it go. So what are what other things can happen in a child's environment that kind of reinforces the absorption of false belief, like, you know,
Well, I think if we do something that goes against that false belief, then what are
right.
the consequences of doing that? So
Yes.
if my family has a belief that feeling sadness is too painful to
Yeah.
feel,
Yeah.
and then I allow myself to feel sadness,
Because every
what are
baby is
their
a soul.
reactions going to be? Their reactions could be quite violent, potentially.
Yes. Yes.
I could get very hurt emotionally or physically, or shunned, or medicated, or you know.
True.
So it's
And the child is experiencing an emotion that triggers feeling of I won't survive, that this is death for me. Like if I don't belong to a family group, for whatever behavior, whatever reason, where there is a kind of a rejection coming, even a
Yeah.
withdrawal, even if there's a withdrawal from parents' attention to the child, survival emotions come out. Like there's a lot of
Yeah.
fear, and they're
Yeah.
going to
And
shut
I
that
think,
down.
yeah, and most children would learn very early on, again, not intellectually, but as a feeling that if I go against these beliefs, yeah, it's not safe. It's dangerous. I might die. I
Yeah.
might be ostracized, I like there, so you just don't. You just don't.
And also for children, we've seen experiments where even the lack of attention, children have died from just lack of attention. So even if
Mhm.
someone withdraws attention, withdraws approval, withdraws love, like that to a baby is probably physiologically impactful. It's a
Yeah.
survival issue.
Yeah. Yeah, it absolutely is. Yeah.
Okay.
So we learn so early that we essentially have to go along with family beliefs or in beliefs in our society or an environment
Yeah.
out of necessity.
Okay. And so for me, culturally, I was born a Sikh. We have this belief that there's some reason, some causes for which you're justified to go to war for.
Mhm.
Even me
Mhm.
saying this out loud, like, again, I am going to get in trouble, but I gotta say it. So I have emotions in me. There's some things in which it's worth to do the do or die kind
Mhm.
of like, which emotionally, when I'm dealing with like, all these addictions and how I've damaged people, when I'm looking at difficult stuff like that, and I get a lot of spirit attacks because I'm mediumistic, I can feel them. I will tap into that courage and go, do or die, I'm doing this, which is great. It's nice to receive that belief and have that. But then a lot of other times, though, I can see and have acted on aggression that were in certain issues, I am justified to act in violence.
Mhm.
So, and it's something that we're very proud of as Sikhs, we're
Mhm.
very proud of it. Um, so it's very difficult to even mention that, we're justifying violence. I don't think that's a thing. And so I've basically just withdrawn from my culture, just withdrawn, going, there's some things I can't even say out loud. I fear about my own safety that I need to release. So I can see how that one false belief has impacted how we treat each other. We may not necessarily go to war, but there's certain different gradients to how far you'll go in your action. Um, what would you say, looking at my situation, what would you say, what are the other impacts that that one belief has had on myself, people health issues?
The belief that like killing another person is justified.
Yeah, there's some situation in which you should defend them and fight for them. The language
Yeah.
is we're fighting for the underdogs, but the language is you're not going to go into battle. You'll fight somebody. You
Yeah.
will be passive.
I mean, to me, like there's so many false beliefs that would be associated even just
Right,
with that one kind of statement or idea.
right.
Um, the beliefs that we're not all brothers and sisters, and
Yeah,
one family or one type of people is more important than the other.
yeah,
Right? Like there's one. There's the belief that certain scenarios might be better than dying, like that death is the worst
yes,
possible
yeah,
scenario.
yes.
Even that is a belief that I don't think is true
Yeah, I still have
anymore.
the feelings in me though.
Yeah,
Emotion is in me. Yeah,
yeah. Um, so there's there's so many beliefs that you would have to confront
yes.
just even in that one
And
seemingly one statement.
I like that surge of power it brings me. It brings me this sense of purpose and energy. And I feel like, oh, I like that feeling, like a dopamine hit of like, yeah, I'm entitled to, I'm allowed to step into some rage and strength, and I can see how it feeds my power addiction. I
Hmm.
like the feeling. I like the dopamine hit. Otherwise, I'm probably feeling powerless,
Yeah.
under. So,
So
okay.
then there's the belief that I can't feel powerless even.
Yeah. Oh,
It might kill me to feel powerless. I might die if I feel powerless.
that is like the DNA of the Sikhs.
Yeah.
I will not be powerless. I will not be never again this kind of like
Yeah.
language. I can feel it in myself as we speak that no, if I, yeah, okay, yeah, you don't show that. You don't show
Mhm.
that culturally, personally, emotionally. You don't show powerlessness. If you show powerlessness, you are saying to bullies, you're welcome to target me, which is why in my childhood situation, I became the bully instead of becoming the bullied. I became the aggressor because otherwise I'm signaling that I can be targeted. I'm
Yeah.
a sitting duck. So I can see how I became the aggressor in my own situation. Okay, so if I challenge the false belief, let's pick another false belief that's more like North American, like something we can kind of more relate to. Um, Probably like one culture or one nation's more superior to the other.
Mhm.
That could be another false belief
Yeah.
we've absorbed.
Yeah.
How does that impact our actions?
Oh, like I mean, it would impact it would, I mean, it's impacting our day to day. You go on social media and it's all over. It's driving a lot of anger and rage and
Right.
fear, that belief that my country is better than yours, or
Oh,
we've
that's
got
true.
our, certain countries don't have their shit together
Right,
essentially, or
right, right, right,
they're in chaos. And so
right,
even that drives this like superiority type feelings in people, but then also a lot of fear, a lot of criticism, a lot of judgment.
right.
And people were carrying around that every day in Canada. I mean, when I'm talking specifically about Canada and the States, that
Mhm,
dynamic is very strong right now.
mhm, mhm. It's almost like I didn't even know I had those feelings until the challenges came up, and then I start to feel like, but I am superior. What are you
Yeah,
talking about?
we are better.
Or you can't just walk in and take my country. What? And I
Hmm.
can feel my like, I will fight back. And it's like, oh, there it is. There it is. Push come to shove, the belief system will rear up.
Yeah.
And then I'm trying to like negotiate with it, like, well, but I don't want to engage in violence, and yet the feeling is still there.
Yeah.
So there's some kind of like this gradient of like, I won't take certain actions, but I'm kind of questioning going, but the belief is still there. So
Hmm.
it's almost like the sin is still in my soul. It
Hmm.
must still be having an impact.
Yeah.
That's very difficult at this point for me to kind of go, how deep does this go? Like,
Yeah.
it's just never ending. Like,
Well, and they take up so much energy too, right? So even, you using that example of like, not really wanting to act on that belief, and so really trying to
mhm,
not, and trying
mhm,
to manage it, and
mhm.
trying to be okay, and all the things that we do to not fully let yourself go into the full expression of the fear or the rage around that belief. Like, how much energy is that taking from our body,
Fair point.
from
That's
our
a good
cells, from our
point.
mitochondria, all the ATP that we
Yeah.
have in our cells? How much of our precious energy is going into just managing your reactions around that belief system?
And
Like,
also the shame of I'm like, oh, I'm feeling superior again. Like then I'm
yeah,
shaming myself, I'm judging myself. And then that's causing me pain also because I'm embarrassed with the belief system I have, which probably I can be humble to the emotion of shame.
yeah.
Um,
Just tying these links between, these beliefs in our health and how we feel. Just even feeling drained energetically, feeling
Yeah,
tired
yeah,
could be
exactly.
part of it.
Exactly. And if you are a person from a particular culture living in a country where there's constant projection from others about my worth or status, that has an impact on my energy and my vitality and my ability to kind of feel like I can, like for me to kind of do any action, I have to overcome a lot of energy coming at me that I shouldn't, I wouldn't, I couldn't. Who do I think I am? Like there's so much coming at me that I have to overcome just to like even say anything. So then there's also the impact on having to receive projections all the time because in our false beliefs we are constantly projecting,
Mhm.
probably, and
Mhm.
then we're not even aware of it.
Yeah, we're projecting, and then in our false beliefs we're also receiving, like we're allowing those projections to get in.
To get in. So if I have a false belief that some people that there's such a thing as people having different worth, then there will be openness for me to go in certain situation I have less, in certain
Yeah,
situation I have more, and I'm always negotiating for this currency.
yeah,
So I can see how it'll flip you
yeah.
onto the other side. Okay. So a lot of our health issues come from false beliefs.
Well, I
Can you
think
give
all
us
of
an
them
example?
do.
Well,
Like the false beliefs that are, like, I think everything ultimately stems from false beliefs in our soul that we're not willing to address, and that are driving certain emotional reactions in us and driving certain choices in us. And and
right.
so it's, suppressed emotions do affect our physical body,
Yeah.
but the suppressed emotions are linked to a false belief.
Okay. And then you have to find a false belief. And generally, what I found is when you find a false belief, it's going to feel like it's justified. It's going to fight for its own existence.
Yeah.
And I generally will then go, okay. I may intellectually go, well, it's not nice to feel you're superior to other people, but the feeling is saying something else. And then I have to kind of talk to God, going, can you show me why this is breaking your law? Well, I mean, being superior, obviously, I can intellectually see, duh, that's not right. Even though emotionally I like the feeling. But then there's some beliefs, like I have a false belief that men should not be aggressive towards women in terms of like sexual assault. So the false belief is men should not, and I feel justified to demand men should not attack women. And that in it, I'm angry, I'm holding on to anger, I'm hurting men, I'm constantly demanding, manipulating, exploiting men. And that it took me a lot to go, why can't I even ask that? Like it took a lot of education to see that the anger I was holding on to is causing damage. That is now I can say, well, okay, I get it. But I still feel like, why can't I even ask for that? You know? So some false beliefs you really got to be brave about. Like you got to keep looking at the damage and then,
Yeah, and how much we want to hold on to them,
oh
like
yeah.
how justified they really, really, really feel. Like, how
And then,
wrong is it to not want a man to be
yeah,
violent towards us?
yeah,
Like, that seems very reasonable,
yeah, yeah.
but to demand that and
The
expect
demand
that.
is coming from anger and that hurts
Yeah,
people.
yeah.
How do you work with the desire to hold on? How do you work with that? What has helped you to work with it?
I like talking to God, like that's really been a game changer for me in my process, because I, starting to form a relationship with God and really understanding that there is truth, there is an absolute truth from
Right,
God's perspective on every single issue. And
right.
there is an absolute, kind of definition of what is love and what is not. Um, yeah, that, to talk to God, and to ask for the truth and to help me see what's unloving about these beliefs.
What
Um,
is unloving? Okay.
to
What
show me
is unloving?
how unloving what the particular belief is in all of its aspects and how it's showing up in my life and how it's causing me to be unloving. And like that's what I feel like that's really one of like a game changer is
Okay.
talking to God about that because
Okay.
there's no other being that can really give me that information
No,
all the time.
no. And there's something about the logic that enters you. The times when I have been able to be open to God's feelings or my guide, sometimes what I've learned is that you ask God the question, but if you're more open to a guide, then the guide will answer.
Yeah.
Um, what I find is that there's something, even though it's an emotional experience, there's a logic to it that enters me, and I go, yeah, okay, I
Yeah.
get it now. Like it kind of bypasses my, I still have to go through the emotions to get rid of it, but it's like, oh yeah, I see it now. Okay, I let go
Yeah.
of my rebellion.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
I
'Cause you can't argue with it anymore. At some
no,
point, you see enough of the damage that the belief causes and enough of the truth around it that it's like you can't argue. There's no sense in arguing anymore. And then
okay.
then there's the point where then you can surrender to it when we stop fighting against it.
And then you have to go through the emotion of the false belief in order to release it. So I have to
Yeah,
feel my belief of I should be able to demand that men keep women safe or treat
yeah,
women safely. I have to go through my own emotion, which will be at first the rage
yeah,
and then the terror. And then some of the terror will be from my experience, some of it will be from multi-generational experiences I've absorbed, probably.
yeah,
Don't know how that works yet. I'm gonna have to go through all those emotions safely, like,
yeah.
to let myself
And,
experience
and
it.
ultimately, the grief that a man didn't treat you well and
Yes,
you weren't safe, ultimately, but yeah,
I
like
was
having to go
worthy.
through all those layers and then feel the pain and of the grief of
Yeah.
that reality that happened.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. We have to go through all of those layers.
Yes.
And then not even like I find you have to go through the emotional layers and then still be willing to release the belief and replace it with truth.
Yes.
It's kind of like if this is the belief sitting in my soul,
Right.
it's one thing to like release the belief, but you have to like, you know,
Replace it.
replace it with the truth.
Yes.
And that's again where I feel like God comes in handy because
Well,
who else you want? I don't want another false belief replacing that. I want the truth.
exactly. That's a good point. You can replace a false belief with another.
Yeah.
Yes. And then, having gone through all the pain of releasing all these experiences, especially including the damage we have now done. Like having gone through all that,
Yeah.
you don't want to add another problem to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I really like what you said, which is you ask God, show me why this belief is unloving. Show me how it's shown up in my life. Show me what it has done in my day-to-day life. I feel
Mhm.
like that is the powerful prayer that you have engaged. And once you've done that, you see the pain it's causing. So
Yeah.
even though you still have emotion about feeling justified, but the pain is so big, you're like, I can't keep going, even though I don't know what else to be. That prayer looks like that's the prayer that's really helped you.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess. Yeah. When I'm sincere about it.
It's another conversation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, but again, it's just emotions to work through. Even when you're
Yeah.
not sincere, if you're like, I have a desire for arrogance, I have desire for domination. It's like the emotion. I can embrace the emotion and go through them and release them, and somehow they soften. They don't fight for itself as much.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about that in other videos.
Yeah.
So this is very, very helpful. I really like the prayer that you said at the end, which is uh, in asking, okay, God, I don't know why this belief is false. I don't know what's wrong with it, but show me what it has done. Show me why it's unloving. Show me what is done to me in my day-to-day life. Show me the damage. That's practical, and I can see why you're so driven and determined to keep working on it.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay, so we will end this conversation here, but I feel like we can keep, I feel like I want to keep picking false beliefs and then break through them. Like, what about the false belief that parents should love their children? Like,
Mm,
ooh, that's controversial. And then you go
mhm.
through that because I have a demand that I can demand love. It's one of
Yeah,
my false beliefs. So what about this belief and that belief? And people should be nice and like
yeah,
unpack them all. This seems like
yeah.
fun to me now.
Yeah, yeah. It is. It's kind of like a game, I find, when I'm
Yeah,
not in like the extreme pain of it all,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's kind of exciting to find them so we can get rid of
Keep
them.
going.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe we'll have people who watch these videos and people who know us, because I don't allow comments, but people who know us who watch this, they could message us and say, "Hey, can you unpack this and that?" And we could have some fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for watching.